The San Antonio Spurs just took out the Clippers without Victor Wembanyama. I think it was one of their most important wins in weeks. I will tell you why next.
You are Locked On Spurs, your daily San Antonio Spurs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hello and welcome back to Locked On Spurs. I'm Matthew Tynan, and I want to thank you for once again making us part of your day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. During the tournament, FanDuel is offering $300 back in bonus bets every day for 10 days. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. On today's episode, we get into some All-NBA and some All-Rookie conversations. Dylan Harper is for sure going to be on one of the All-Rookie teams. It's just a matter of which one. But with Steph Castle, we think there's probably a case for him to make an All-NBA team, especially with some of these guys like sitting out and missing the 65 game requirements and yada, yada, yada. But we're going to take a look at the list and see if he does actually fit in. But first, San Antonio beats the Clippers 118-99 in a game they played without Victor Wembanyama. And I think that it was one of the most important wins in a long time, in weeks, frankly, because this is a team that quietly, and again, we brought this up on the show yesterday, had been a net negative without Victor Wembanyama on the court. Recent games during this 11-game winning streak, they have been playing some opponents that were, just to put it nicely, a bit subpar. Without going into the, several of them were just straight up tanking. So it was good to see some competition, but it was especially good to see competition without Victor Wembanyama in the lineup. And, by the way, against an opponent that was close to full strength that you might see in the first round. The Spurs, the last loss the Spurs suffered, let me quit babbling on here, was against the Denver Nuggets. It was in San Antonio. It came without Victor Wembanyama on the court. The supporting cast, and I say that kind of loosely because like De'Aaron Fox, Steph Castle, these are really good players, but in the world of Victor Wembanyama, it is deemed a supporting cast. They blew a 20-plus point halftime lead. I think it was like 25 points at halftime to lose to the Nuggets. Now, they are on this 11-game winning streak, and they just so happen to get the Nuggets again on Saturday night. But I thought just to be able to see one go in, especially when they build a big lead early on, I think it got up to as many as 26 points. It was a 24-point halftime lead for San Antonio. But the lead was trimmed to 7 points in the fourth quarter. So for them to hold off a Clippers surge, push the lead all the way back out to like 23 points at one point in the fourth quarter, was good to see. I'm sure it felt good to them because without their sort of safety blanket, without the Victor Wembanyama of it all, to be able to see a game like that go in, for those guys to be able to do it on their own is a big deal because there are going to be points in the postseason where they're going to have to do it without Victor Wembanyama, and they're going to have to do it against better teams than the ones they've faced recently. De'Aaron Fox, this guy has been the number one on a team before. We've already talked about a lot of the sacrifices that he's made this season. This is an all-star. We know he was a replacement this year, but this is a guy who is an all-star. He is fringe all-NBA type player. We've seen him be a number one before, but it's always good to see him sort of snap things into place, I guess, if you want to call it that. Like when Victor is out, this guy comes ready to play. And he did against the Clippers, stepped up. I put something out there on Twitter. He has a knack for these, like, quote unquote, everybody just relax type of games when fans start to get a little bit uneasy about his performances. He shows you that this is who he is and will be a valuable asset, of course, during the postseason. But just as De'Aaron Fox comes in, sets the tone for a game that San Antonio, obviously, like, whether or not they really needed the win, that's subjective. That's up to you. If you think that they can still catch the Thunder, which is looking less and less likely by the day, considering they just keep winning, it wasn't necessarily a needed win in the standings, but it was good for the confidence. And then to see Steph Castle come in the fourth quarter when the lead was trimmed to 7, like I said, and rip off 10 points in a few minutes. Just the back-to-back efforts from those two guys, De'Aaron Fox getting the show started, Steph Castle putting the nail in the coffin. You absolutely love to see it. I'm going to bring in Tyler Prince now. This is something that, look, I'm admittedly from a journalist standpoint, from a podcaster standpoint, from an analyst standpoint, I'm looking for all the little things that might crop up during the postseason. So, like, I am looking for how is this team going to play without Victor in the lineup when over the last several months they've been a net negative when he's been off the floor. You're just looking for little things. But from a fan perspective, where are you on this idea of what do you take away from a game like this without Victor? We all love watching Victor play. It's certainly not quite as exciting when he's out of the game. But there's still a lot to take from games like these, and I would imagine plenty of feel good too.
Well, hey, look, no Victor Wembanyama probably means more Steph Castle dunks, a thing we're going to be talking about a little later in the show. But I think as a fan, it's important to remember that playoffs are all about adversity, and being able to respond to adversity takes practice. So, these guys getting an opportunity against a good team without Victor Wembanyama to go in and execute, know that they can do that going in. And as much as losing a 26-point lead is stressful as a fan watching during the game, these guys need to be able to do that. They need to be able to come back from down big. They need to be able to dominate. They need to be able to hold a lead. These are all things that you got to practice, and the only way to practice is to do it. So I hope these next 5 games are really competitive, that the other teams bring their best, because that's just going to make our guys better for the playoffs.
And you said it, it's like responding to adversity, because we keep bringing it up, even though Victor kind of poo-pooed on it, and I love what he said when he said, screw it, we're young, so what? We're going to go try to do this still. But this is the type of adversity when you're trying to get these young players, and De'Aaron Fox's side, again, we know that he's sort of been here before. He hasn't been on any deep playoff runs, but he's been in the league for a while. He's been in the postseason. But you're talking about the Dylan Harpers and the Steph Castles, who both had great games against the Clippers.
Great games.
And so to see them individually as, a 20-year-old and a 21-year-old respond under that kind of pressure in a game that look, it had stakes. And you certainly want to leave an imprint on the team that you might play in the first round. You don't want to give them confidence. So to see the young players on the team who need this kind of experience respond in that way is definitely a big deal.
Absolutely. And I don't think it would be wrong to say that last night's game was a shot across the bow at LA, letting them know what they're in for, even without Victor Wembanyama, if we end up playing him in the playoffs.
You want to cast a little bit of doubt. Like this was the case the last time they played Houston and they just kind of wiped the floor with them. Mm-hmm. It was like, oh man, the Rockets have no chance against these guys. And you can almost tell in their body language by the fourth quarter that it's like, what do we do? What do we do? And you're absolutely right, especially without Victor in the lineup. When you have Darius Garland and Kawhi Leonard and Benedict Mathurin, it's tough. It's tough. That does not leave you much room for added confidence ahead of any potential matchup. All right, coming up next, we are going to talk about all NBA teams. Let's get into it next. All right, folks, the tournament, it has been going on. The Final Four is upon us. This is one of the best times of the year. Brackets, buzzer beaters, upsets, it's nonstop action from tip to final cut down. And right now, FanDuel is giving new customers a way to stay in the action all tournament long. Here's the best part. You get up to $300 back in bonus bets every day for 10 days. That means 10 chances to stay involved throughout the entire tournament. That's good for me because my Texas Tech Red Raiders were knocked out unceremoniously in the second round. helps to keep one involved, I would say. You can mix it up however you want, game picks, futures, or even same game parlays for bigger potential payouts. It's perfect for the tournament because every day there's something new, different matchups, new storylines, and more ways to get involved as the bracket unfolds. So visit FanDuel.com to sign up today. That's FanDuel.com to get in on the action. All right, welcome back. And a reminder to all you everydayers out there, get your first month of the Everydayer Club for free when you use the code MARCH. You will unlock ad-free episodes and entry into our private listener group chat where I am hanging out daily. Click the link in the show notes or go to lockedonspurs.com. lockedonspurs.supercast.com to claim your free month. That's lockedonspurs.supercast.com. Okay, time to talk all rookie and all NBA teams. And let's just get the easy one out of the way. All right?
Sure.
Dylan Harper.
For
sure going to be on the all-rookie team, one of the two all-rookie teams. The only conversation that we're having here is whether or not he's going to make the first one. This one seems pretty easy to me, man.
Yeah.
This one seems pretty easy to me, man.
Yeah, he's fourth on the rookie ladder, and there's 5 all-team first spots, so that seems like a no-brainer.
That is the KiaNBA.com rookie ladder.
But also,
for those of you,
in 22 minutes, he's averaging 11 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists. If he was giving us 36 minutes, his per 36 are 18.8, 5.2, 6.2.
Right.
I really think, and it's a hypothetical, but I really think if he was on a worse team, he'd be in the conversation for Rookie of the Year. If he was,
I don't even know. I don't think that's a hypothetical. Like, this is something that I'm sure every voter, everyone who is at least knowledgeable, somewhat knowledgeable of the situation, could look at this and be like, yeah, if he was in. Look, I know Charlotte's a good team, but there was a starting spot like ready and waiting for Concanipple.
Absolutely.
Obviously in Dallas, like starting spot ready and waiting for Cooper Flag. Same with VJ Edgecombe. Although I guess you could kind of look at that and think, where are they going to slide him next to Paul George and co? But like that team is perpetually injured.
Yeah, sure.
They needed an infusion of youth. Like he was automatically going to get time from the start. Ace Bailey's on the Utah Jazz. Enough said. They can find room for him to play. So, and like maybe there wasn't a ton of certainty surrounding how good the Spurs were going to be this year. Like as evidenced by the fact that Vegas had their win total at like 45 or something like that. Most of like even the most optimistic of us were like upper 40s.
Yeah.
And here they are at 59 wins, like guaranteed to hit 60. You know, I don't want to jinx anything. I say something like that and something catastrophic happens. But you get the point. Anyway, this is a general situation where had it been the Spurs or anyone other than the Spurs in that high lottery range were to draft Dylan Harper, he would be playing a lot more than he is. So wait, did you have the per 36 minutes?
I did. They were 18.8 points, 5.2 rebounds, 6.2 assists. Sorry, I have a
pretty good.
I have a small
dogs.
herd
It's
of dogs over here.
No, it's okay. Yeah, I again, like the names that I just listed here. Whenever you take a look at any of the other players that might supplant him in the top 5 for the first team all rookie, you're talking about Maxime Reynaud in Sacramento, who has been very good down the stretch, like very good. That is a terrible team. I know that we don't really look at records, and rightfully so. Like we don't really look at records when it comes to rookies because a lot of times, as we've said, they're drafted into bad situations. So when you see some of the stuff that he's doing, he is a little bit frightening in terms of a threat to supplant a Dylan Harper. Then you keep going down the list. Cedric Coward had a great start to the year. He's been in and out of the lineup though lately. Derek Queen, great start to the year, really kind of started to fade. Jeremiah Fears, I don't know. Trey Johnson just hasn't done enough. I think the only threat to Dylan Harper in the top 5, or I should say in the for first team all rookie, would be like if they start to mix in Ace Bailey and Maxime Reynaud, but I think the fact that Dylan Harper's been doing this all year long and has been doing it in a major role for the second best team in the NBA record-wise, a team that might win the title this year. Might.
And it's not like he's playing a small role either. He's main rotation guy. He has shown his ability to finish at the rim is just as good at the NBA level as it was at college, which is crazy.
It's actually been kind of like startling.
Yeah.
We all expected him to be good around the rim because that's what he does. But like to see it translate into this league against these athletes, against these defenders. Yeah, it's unbelievable to watch. He's been excellent.
It's the efficiency for me because like Steph Castle had a great rookie season in terms of finishing around the rim, but not at this level of efficiency at all.
He's still Dylan Harper's already a better finisher at the rim than Steph Castle is.
Not as flashy, but yes, you are correct. Not as good a defender as Steph Castle either. Actually, great time to talk about Steph Castle and maybe being an all-NBA
you know what?
third
We've already convinced everybody. Dylan Harper, first team all rookie. It would be a travesty if he is not listed with that first team. He absolutely deserves it. On to the next one. We have solidified the argument. Think no more of it. All right, what do we got next, Tyler?
All right, Steph Castle, All-NBA third team. This is a tougher one, I think. If we take a look at probably the lower end of third team last year, that'd be Jalen Williams, who put up 21 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists with a steal and a half a game, which is a pretty good season. Steph Castle this season's averaging 16.7, 5.2, and 7.2. That 7.2 assists is good for 7th in the league in assists. And he's also, in my opinion, an obvious All-NBA first team. I'm just going to say I think he's an All-NBA, one of the better perimeter, if not the best perimeter defender in the league right now.
Defender. Yeah, no, he's going to be.
I'm sorry, all defense first team.
On All-NBA defense. Yeah, for sure.
But I think
he's widely recognized as such. I think that people see the success. They see, this is what comes with like when you're this good, when you're on national TV all the time, is that more people get to see you. And as crazy as it sounds, even the analysts who are paid a ton of money on television to pay attention to these guys, like if your record isn't, maybe if they were like middling and the offense wasn't as great as it's become and they're not on national TV as much, like maybe people aren't seeing the Steph Castle defensive performances, but like it's so obvious now because they're on TV a lot. They're so good on both sides of the ball. So like this extra exposure like solidifies a spot for you in one of those rosters. The only argument would be, is it first team or not? And I think but like you are looking at a guy who is quickly becoming one of like the top 5 perimeter defenders in the NBA in terms of like, especially when it comes to like one-on-one
defense,
type scoring or type defense. So yeah, but I think the bigger conversation is all NBA. And let's just limit this to, he's probably not going to crack the top 2. The first team all NBA is settled.
Yeah.
That is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Victor Wembanyama, Luka Doncic. That is if all of these guys meet the 65 games. Shai, Victor, Luka, Nikola Jokic. And then to me, it's Kawhi Leonard. I think that those 5 are obvious.
I don't think you're allowed to say that on a Spurs podcast, Matthew.
Hey, listen, man. People can put their head in the sand if they want. He's been incredible this year, having one of the best years of his career. I make no apologies here.
Well,
I make no apologies.
We have to go to break. So when we come back, why don't we talk about why you would pick Kawhi Leonard over Jaylen Brown, and then we can talk about the dunkiest Spurs.
No, we're not going to do that. Here's what we're going to do. We are going to settle once and for all where Steph Castle belongs in the All-NBA discussion. Coming up next. The playoffs are back in San Antonio, and let me tell you, there is nothing like being in that arena during the postseason. The crowd, the energy, the moment. It's been a while. I'm just saying it's great. Getting tickets, though, that part hasn't always been so simple. That's why Game Time has become the go-to app for scoring tickets fast without the hassle. It puts the advantage back where it belongs with the fans. You can pull up the Game Time app, pick an upcoming NBA game. That would be San Antonio versus whoever they're going to play in the first round. Or they have 4 games left in the regular season at home. Check it out. And you can get tickets locked in within minutes. You love seeing the all-in price up front. No surprise fees at checkout. Nobody likes surprise fees at checkout. And being able to see the view from the seat before buying makes the decision easy. Zone deals stood out. Choose the section, Game Time picks the seats, and you save. Great last-minute options, too, with NBA tickets showing up at solid prices. Everything feels quick, intuitive, and stress-free from start to finish. So take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. That's code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today, and do remember, it's gametime.co, not .com. Today's episode is also brought to you by Robinhood. What if sports were traded like markets? Now you can put your sports IQ to work in real time with Robinhood prediction markets. It's not you against the house. It's you participating in a live market. You can buy or sell your positions live all game long. Use your sports knowledge in the moments that matter. Robinhood prediction markets changes the game. It's people moving the action. So when momentum shifts, you can move with it. I always knew the game, but never had a dynamic way to apply that knowledge. Now I can actually take part live in a market powered by people. You're no longer just a spectator. Play by play, you decide. Trade every play with Robinhood, now available across the U.S. Download the Robinhood app now to begin. Futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives, LLC, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm. Back to the All-NBA discussion. I said what I said, Tyler. I said it's Shea, Gilgeous-Alexander, Victor Wembanyama, Kawhi Leonard, Luka Doncic, and Nikola Jokic is the obvious top 5. Look, I will hear arguments for Jaylen Brown. That team has been unbelievable, much better than expected. I look at what Kawhi has done from an efficiency standpoint and the fact that like they have survived these trades and injuries and yada, yada, yada. It's like the most efficient season he's ever had, which is saying something, but
yeah,
I digress. Here's where it gets tricky, okay? Because when you look at the rest of the NBA and the guys that you typically see in the All-NBA discussion, Giannis Antetokounmpo doesn't qualify. Steph Curry doesn't qualify. Jason Tatum doesn't qualify. So, Cade Cunningham doesn't, at least at this point, doesn't qualify. If he gets some sort of exception, it's like it is cruel that a guy who's had this good of a season to be cut off because he only played 61 games. But like that's where we're at right now. But look, like the competition at this point is Bam Adebayo, Chet Holmgren, LaMelo Ball, Jalen Duren, Joel Embiid's out. Are you including Jarrett Allen in this conversation? I think Donovan Mitchell probably has to be in. Derek White, you can make an argument for. Tyrese Halliburton is out of the picture. Go ahead. I keep talking over you.
No, you're good. I said Derek White's had a great season. Former Spur. We miss him in San Antonio.
He is a former Spur who will get support by the masses, but Kawhi Leonard will not.
He'll also come to San Antonio and put 30 on us in a game.
He's
in
cool.
A game. As he should. But I think my argument for Stephon Castle would be two things. Yes, he's all defense, but he's had a pretty, he's top 10, top 7 in assists. And arguably not even arguably, he's the third best player on this team in his second year. And he's going to be a huge part of the reason that the Spurs either do or do not go deep into the playoffs.
We've already seen the impact. I mean, we talked about it earlier in the show. Like they needed him to score in the fourth quarter last night. So like we look at the whatever it is, 16 or 17 points a game, but that's as a result of the fact that he plays next to Victor Wembanyama and he plays next to De'Aaron Fox. And he plays on a team that just so happens to have 8 guys who score in double figures. So it's not like
Which,
he
if that
has
holds
this,
up, it'll be the
yeah,
first time in NBA history a team's
right,
done that.
exactly. That just speaks to the balance. So no, in considering how good this team is and the fact that they're going to be number 2 in the West, like, it's a valid argument. And when you do mix in the fact that there are so many staples, like guys that you typically see in that range every single season, there are so many of those guys who are not going to qualify. And then you look at the total package that is Steph Castle. Like, when De'Aaron Fox came in, I didn't expect him to lead the team in assists. Like,
No.
I hasn't, and the big question over the last few years is like, is this guy actually a point guard? No, he's just a wing. No, like,
No.
he's showing you that he is a guard. He is a wing. He can be anything that you want him to be. And I think that pliability and just that scalability around the lineup and in terms of his roles and everything.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, look,
it's a tough argument. Like, there are just so many good players in the NBA, but
yeah.
he has an
Well,
absolutely valid argument for third team All NBA.
and his versatility is going to make him a guy that's going to be in this league for a long time because he's going to have different teammates. He's probably going to have to fill different roles as he goes.
For sure.
You know what my favorite thing about Steph Castle is, though?
What is that?
He's a very aesthetically pleasing dunker. I want to take the time to recognize the Spurs. This is the dunkiest Spurs team in franchise history. I can't remember a time that I watched the Spurs and was like getting a great poster dunk almost every game.
It was last year.
Well, not as good as this year, man. I mean,
it's not. Last year they broke the franchise record for most dunks in a season, and then they surpassed it this year.
Yep, they've already got 461 dunks this year. 303 of those 461 are Victor Wembanyama with 164, Luke Cornett with 80, and Steph Castle's got 59. I would bet money Steph Castle is responsible for about half of Luke and Victor's dunks, though, throwing them alley-oops all season.
Ooh, that's something I could have looked up before the show, but I will look it up after the show. But yeah, a lot of lobs from our buddy Steph Castle.
After the last few seasons of I know I, as a fan, felt like, how do you miss Victor Wembanyama on a lob? His range of where he can catch them is very large. But you were telling me it's a lot harder than it looks.
It's a skill, man. Like, it really is a skill. And you can look at, you talk about De'Aaron Fox and Devin Vassell and like these guys who are talented guards. And you watch them throw lobs, it's like they don't throw them nearly as well as Steph Castle does. Look around the NBA. Like, it is a much more difficult skill than I think people give it credit for. I know that there was a lot of hand-wringing over the fact that San Antonio wasn't finding Victor on lobs enough during his first couple of seasons in the NBA. There's a couple of reasons for that, but not the least of which being that there wasn't a good lob thrower on the team. Chris Paul came in, made a difference, of course, last season, but he's not even throwing lobs at the same rate that Steph Castle is. Even one of the best point guards in league history. It's just not the easiest thing in the world to do. And here's another reason why they're connecting on so many more lobs. There's more space around Victor. Like,
absolutely.
Teams understand that they just can't leave everybody open on the perimeter anymore. We've talked often about the role gravity that Victor possesses, but like, Victor has also learned angles better. He is a much better roll man than he has been in the past, where sometimes he's taken awkward angles. Like, just in your mind, see if you can picture what a lot of these situations looked like in the last couple of years, where some of these lobs were like straight line, like top of the key, high pick and roll, but it's just sort of a straight line to the rim rather than finding angles. And like when you have Steph Castle coming off a pick and roll, let's say, and Victor isn't rolling like right next to him, but taking sort of a looping angle, there is more room to work with both horizontally and vertically. And there's just a better angle that Steph Castle has to find him. So it's all coming together. And by all, I mean the angles that the ball handlers are taking, the angle that Vic is taking, the added spacing on the floor, the threat of the 3-point shot around him. There's just a carpet being rolled out
Yeah.
much more often for Victor this year than there was in the past.
Well,
And Steph is a major beneficiary of that.
Well, and the part of lobs we haven't even talked about is chemistry, right? Like, it's
Absolutely,
two
man.
players being on the same wavelength and knowing what the other's going to do and expecting what's going to happen.
Yep.
You know, this team is doesn't even really exist anymore. But Trae Young and John Collins there for a season or two had some absolutely outstanding lob chemistry.
Zach Collins.
No, John Collins.
Oh, I see what you're
Trae
saying.
Young
My
and
bad,
John
my bad.
Collins,
My
Atlanta
bad.
Hawks.
My bad.
But
They sure did.
I'm seeing
They
a
sure
lot
did.
of that with Steph and Victor. They have a really good sense of what the other one's trying to do when they're on offense.
All right, it's time to get out of here, but we're gonna leave. I'm gonna ask you one question,
Sure.
real quick. All right, so Victor, through whatever it is, 77 games, has 164 dunks. Can you tell me who led the Spurs in dunks the year before Victor got to town?
The year before Victor
3,
goes to town.
2,
Lonnie Walker?
1. Jeremy Sohan.
Jeremy
And he had
Sohan.
60.
60's not
It's a
bad.
big jump. It's a big jump.
Yeah. Well, Luke's at 80, so.
And Luke's got 80, even more than Sohan had that year. Thank you all for tuning in today to Locked On Spurs. We've got more Spurs deep dives coming your way every single day. Make sure you subscribe and follow us wherever you get your podcasts so you get all the latest episodes. On the next episode, which won't be till Monday, we will be getting into Spurs Nuggets for sure. Victor Wembanyama versus Nikola Jokic. We hope. You never know with last minute injury updates and all that stuff, but we will be getting into that game regardless on Monday. You can find me on Twitter at Matthew_Tynan and also over at the Corporate Knowledge newsletter, MatthewTynan.substack.com. If you like more of the long form written stuff, I will be doing more audio stuff over there and video stuff as well.
We also have live game chats that are a lot of fun.
Live game chats, by the way, and they're a lot of fun. If you want a place where you can sort of live and hang out during games, it really is. And also give me a hard time if you want. Plenty of people enjoy doing that.
Yeah,
please
my
come on
favorite
by.
activity.
It's a good space for that. Tyler, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Tyler Prince Film. If you're listening on audio, guys, do us a favor, subscribe on your favorite podcast app and put automatic downloads on.
Please do. Thank you very much. If you never miss an episode, the Everydayer Club is built just for you. Get Locked On Spurs ad-free, plus members-only Discord access, and more. Head to lockedonspurs.supercast.com to join the club. For those of you on video, we send you to the first ever 24/7 National NBA YouTube channel. On audio, make sure you make your second listen NBA game night on Locked On NBA. For Tyler Prince, I'm Matthew Tynan. We'll talk to you Monday.